Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Unfiltered, Proudly in Your Prime. I'm Renee Procenko. I'm here with my partner, Carolina Billings, and we are talking today about the home features that buyers absolutely want in today's market, and even more so, how you and I as homeowners, with our homes being our biggest investment, our largest asset, how we can not waste money on preparing our home for sale, throwing $50,000 down the drain and having our buyers come through our house and say, you know what, I don't like that, and turn around and leave. So today we're going to have a little bit of fun. Carolina, you don't know what I'm going to talk about today, and we're just going to,
no clue.
We're just going to go back and forth.
Which is a common theme between us.
Which is because we're like ships passing through the night sometimes. So welcome, everyone. And before we get started, Carolina, when you saw that I was talking about 10 home features that are worth every penny that homeowners can put into their homes that buyers are looking for, what was the first thing that popped in your mind?
Oh, I couldn't wait to hear it. And everyone knows I tried to sell my house last year, and it didn't work out for many reasons. And so in the process, I've done a lot of research and accumulated a lot of information. And so much of it is contradictive, like it contradicts each other, right? So I am so looking forward to hearing from the king and queen of right sizing, where we're completely missing the mark.
Well, and this, of course, applies to our market, which we do live in Canada, in Ontario specifically. And so we do have obviously our four seasons to contend with. But the one thing I think we all need to keep in mind is that when we're talking about buyers in any climate, anywhere in the world, they are wanting to buy space. When they're walking into people's homes, what they're really spending money on is space, potential, possibility, right?
And the view, if you're me.
Yeah. Yes, view.
Space in the view. But you mentioned we are in Toronto, in Canada, in the Greater Toronto area. But no matter what news you consume within our North American context, of course, right? Most real estate markets are in a tough spot. It's definitely a buyer's market anywhere you look. And so this message is quite relevant to our audience at large.
Absolutely. And that's a really good point. I mean, we are, the tables have turned, right? We've been in a seller's market for a long time, and now it's the buyer's turn to have the limelight. So yeah, they've got the upper hand, and we need to make sure that our homes are very appealing to them, because if not, there's lots of choice out there now. They can just go to the next one. So one thing for sure that we need to do is, and gosh, I've been giving decluttering workshops for a long time, is we have to get rid of our clutter. At least 30% of our stuff needs to come out of the home, off the walls, off the shelves. And if you're keeping it for your next move, fine, box it away. I mean, you have to do that anyway. But again, we want to give that illusion of space, right? And the other thing, before we get into the top 10 features, is cleanliness and giving the impression that the house is easy, the house is healthy. So when I say easy, I'm talking about it's clean. I don't have to, buy your house and then get on my hands and knees and clean the baseboards. It's already done. They already look great, right? Okay. And also that everything is fixed, repaired, well maintained. Subconsciously, psychologically, that is super important for buyers.
Mm-hmm. You want as much as a turnkey operation, I guess. I'm really curious because I think at 33%, you're being very generous. I think it's more than that. Because I remember, I packed, I don't know, at least 30%, maybe because I'm a collector. I packed about, I don't know, more than that, mainly my books, of course. And the professionals kept saying more, and I'm like, how? Like, it's just like, how is that possible? And then, you know what? When the first round of pictures came out, it did look crowded. It like, and even though it wasn't, and I was just like, what the heck?
Hmm.
Right. So I have to tell you, I cannot wait to go over the 10 because I am literally days away from listing my home, which is a unique type of property. So needless to say, but these rules apply to everyone, really.
They do. And first impressions, we can't tell you how important that is. I know my husband and I were looking at homes a couple of years ago, and there were homes that he booked them, and I trust him completely. Just, you book the homes, I'll show up and look at them. There were some that I would literally walk up to the front porch and say, no, I'm done, turn around and go back. So if you've got leaves all over your front porch and cobwebs in your door, I'm not even going in because I'm not interested in a fixer-upper or something where I have to talk about first impressions, where I have to get on my hands and knees and scrub before I can even move my stuff in. So so first impressions are huge. If you have a pet or pets, be really aware of that. Be aware of how that impacts your home, that the smell of a pet gets in your fabrics, in your carpets, in your rugs. And so you homeowners with pets, pet owners, I used to have a cat, you have we call nose fatigue or blind nose, where nose
You stop,
blind.
and that's with every, like even your perfume. After a while, you stop smelling it, right? So
Absolutely.
when
And we
someone
all
else
know.
tells you it smells like this, trust them.
Yeah, and every house has its own smell, whether you have a pet or not, right? I mean, you walk into someone's
You could
house,
be
you
a
always
pet.
get a whiff of, oh, but it's absolutely normal. So let's dive in. You know what,
Oh, we
Carolina?
haven't even started. Oh my word. Okay, I
No,
was
no.
already in
Okay,
test
so
mode. Okay.
those are basics that apply to anything, any home. All right, those
Okay.
are the ground rules. All right. Okay, so let's see if you can guess one of the features that today's buyers are really looking for in a
Okay.
home.
I feel like
Yes,
I'm in the hot seat. Oh, that was the question. Okay. I would say well, you said square footage. So
I did.
yeah, I would say the the neutral, the neutrality of the home, like for it to be like a canvas ready for you to see yourself in it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that I think that goes along the lines of what we were saying earlier about removing clutter, and that's a whole other
But that's not
podcast
number
in
one.
itself, right? Because we can talk about depersonalizing the house, neutralizing the space. We could talk about staging 101, the basics that we need to cover.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
when we're talking
Curb
features,
appeal. Like I would
curb
say,
appeal,
yeah, I
curb
would say how the house looks in context with the other houses around you.
Yes. So, and that's funny. That's the very last one on my list. So we'll cover that first. And that is, uh, now you can't control your neighborhood. Obviously, you can't even control your neighbor, but you can do things that can mitigate any problems. For example, we are putting a house on the market this spring that when we went to see it last fall, the unfortunate neighbor beside is hoarder, bad situation. So when you're standing doing the dishes at the kitchen window, which
Oh
faces along the
no.
side of the house, that's what you see. It's a disaster. And so
Oh
what we did
no.
in the fall was we planted a row of 8-foot emerald cedars to block
Okay.
the view. So sometimes we have to think outside the box, and that's why it's important to get your realtor on side in the loop at least 6 months in advance if you can, because you have lots of time to do things like that. So
And
you're
you know
right.
what? That's brilliant because I mean, I'm not. I've got my spoon in many pots. Interior design's not one of them. However, I have read that you're supposed to sit like on every chair in your house so that you see what your guests see, right, from every angle. I never thought to look out the window from
Mhm.
every window to see what the prospective buyer will see. Um,
Absolutely.
now I'm like itching to do that right now.
Yeah, yeah, and luckily, of course, especially out the back, again, there's only so much you can do, but if there are ways to mitigate, then now's the time to do them, right? Especially before the photographer shows up. So yes, curb appeal is a big thing. That is major when it comes to first impressions. So here's something similar to what you were just saying, sort of, and that is, in my number one feature is natural light. So this isn't something that you have to buy. You don't have to, carve a new window out of your existing wall, but do things like make sure your windows are clean. Make sure if you've got overgrown shrubs outside that are blocking any of the sunlight, cut them back, because the goal is to get as much sunlight, natural light, as deep into your house as possible. So you'll find that stagers will say, get rid of those wall coverings, take down those bulky drapes. And they do, they take them down all the time. If you've got shears, open them up, and the shears can be along the sides of the windows. But yeah, oftentimes we're taking all the window coverings down, those valances, all that stuff, to let as much light in as possible.
Now, I have questions about this. Now, the difference between the photography when you're getting your home photograph for the show and the listings, opposite to when people come visit, right? So when people come visit, you got no control when they're coming. So you turn on all the lights and, you go through your routine. But for the pictures, like, you're supposed to turn on all the lights and have all the windows open, whatever. Is it better to photograph it in the afternoon, like in bright light? Is it better to do it when the lighting, sets the mood for the photograph?
Mm-hmm. Well,
what is best? Because really, curb appeal begins at the listing.
Yes, it begins online. Yes, absolutely. I'm not a photographer. I know that photographers prefer overcast days when they're shooting homes, I think, because they have more control over the lighting. And the photographer will adjust the blinds in each room based on the shot, right? The angle and all of that. So I don't know if there's really a good time or a bad time, and that most of the tricks of the trade that they use adjust for lighting. So, but yeah, you want to just have the bulky fabric taken away. And also for light bulbs, guys, we want all the light bulbs to be the same tone, right? The same color.
I need to take notes here. And what wattage do you recommend?
Oh, if your lamp or whatever you have takes 100 watts, then you're going to put in a 100-watt bulb. Where people go wrong, and I'm not an expert in light bulbs, but you can get light bulbs now that are white, soft white, daylight. There's all kinds, right? There's even
blue.
There's even light bulbs that shift through the day to mimic our circadian rhythm. Yes, I know.
I like
right?
that.
Yeah, they start off with like a brighter color during the day, and they shift to like a warmer orange at night. Cutting off that blue light.
Okay.
Yeah. So all of this to say, though, most important, we don't want to feel like we're in, a hospital operating room with these big, bright blue, bright white lights. But we do want all the lights in a room to be the same tone. So buy your light bulbs in batches. Now, we got to move on because we got 9 others here. So that's natural light, extremely important. Now, number 2, you were alluding to, Carolina, is a functional floor plan. And you guys know it's been all the rage in the past, 10 years. Everybody wants open concept layout. Here's the challenge with that. If you've ever been into a true open concept where they've gutted the whole first floor, and it's just pillars and windows, and you can see throughout the whole main floor, that's disastrous when it comes to noise control, right? So if you have a husband who's hard of hearing and he likes to have the TV really loud, right? You're going to hear that.
I don't know anybody like that.
Pardon? Get it? All through the house, you're going to hear that. Or, if you have a baby sleeping upstairs and you've got younger kids playing, like that, just not a good idea. So builders today are pulling that back a little bit. more a sexier, smaller floor plan is what they're striving for, something high function, right? And they still like the open concept with the kitchen, family room, but not the rest of the house. We need some rooms on the main floor that we can shut the doors, have privacy, and shut out the noise. So a functional floor plan is really, really important, especially when we've got a lot of folks now working from home.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So you're going to really appreciate number 3 on my list, and that is outdoor living spaces. This is whether you're an entry-level buyer or a move-up buyer, a luxury buyer, everybody wants outdoor living spaces, patios, porches, anything that can extend the square footage of your home, basically. The backyard becomes your second living room. And you and I both know, I mean, the moment it's warm enough in our area, I am eating lunches and dinners out on our patio and sitting and working on my laptop on the front porch. So a lot of people appreciate that. And
No disagreement there.
Do you use your outdoor? You've got lots of outdoor space. Do you use it? You've got a fire pit.
I used to, and I know the kids used it a lot, like my son and his friends. Me, it depends, but for selling, it depends what buyer you're attracting, right? I think the lesson that I've taken when it comes to the outdoors is make it look that is easy to maintain. Because I have been outside taking care of my house, and I've had people walk by, and it was a couple, and I think it was the husband that said, "Oh, look at that pretty house," and I was like feeling like really good, and then the wife said, "Yeah, but that's a lot of maintenance." Just like so.
Yeah.
People that love gardening, that love outdoor, that love that lifestyle will see potential. People that don't will see work.
Well, there's 2 things there. So for extending your outdoor space, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Giving the impression that it's a low maintenance or low maintaining, easy to maintain space is super important. Unless, you've got gorgeous perennials on your property. So, you of course need someone that has a green thumb or hopes to have a green thumb for your home. But
or hires the right people.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So outdoor space, really important. Next one, and here's where you can really waste a lot of money, and that is updating your kitchen. And, it's okay to update your kitchen. Well, we always say to people, be careful. You don't necessarily want to update your kitchen just because you're moving, and update it for the next buyer, right? Because that's when you can make silly mistakes with your money. And you guys, we've all seen it where new buyers move in, and the next day the big bin is in the garage, in the driveway, and they're tossing into the bin the kitchen you just spent 50 grand on to put in. The updates. So instead of going for exotic marble countertops or something, silly like that, go more functional. It's all about function these days. So, those, what do you call them? Those appliance garages that they have now. I don't like that name.
The ones that hide all there's nothing on the counters. Everything goes inside the pull downs.
Yes, they hide the toaster and the coffee maker. Yeah, I mean, things like that are a nice update to have. You can resurface your cabinets, but to be honest with you, if the rest of your house isn't updated at all, why spend money on updating your cabinets in one room? Like,
it's not going to modernize so I think unless it's like super dated, like you got, avocado appliances or like, something like that, right? Especially, and you smile, but we're in a historical village, and people have lived here for a very long time. So it's not uncommon that the person that is moving out has lived in that home for 30, 40 years, right?
Oh, 100%.
So when we're saying avocado appliances,
no.
I am not being,
we sold a house. We just sold a house last fall. They had pink bathroom appliances.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Remember the toilets? The avocado toilets for the fun.
Not a fan, but
Dating ourselves. But
yeah.
anyway.
But I'm talking function, like, the pull-out spice drawers and the deep pot drawers, that kind of thing. That's what buyers are really interested in. All right, moving on. Feature number, I don't know what number we're on. Let's call it 5, and that is the flexible living space. Now, funny enough, I look like I don't know, what do I look like? I'm sitting in a living room. I'm actually sitting in my dining room because I have a large built-in banquette in my kitchen, and I'm an empty nester. So I took the dining room as an office. But you know what buyers really like is they like a room that can be multi-purpose, So if I had a Murphy bed here, it could be a guest room, flip the bed up and it's my gym in the morning.
Room, bedroom.
Yeah, it could be whatever you need.
You know what? So like you, I'm an empty nester, but like I'm an empty nester, just me. And having the whole house to myself, I end up working. This is my kitchen island, and I find it the most comfortable, and the lighting is best, and the height of everything opposite to a desk. And this works for me. And not being a cooker, this is a cooker. Anyways, not being into cooking. This is probably the most time I've spent in my kitchen all these years because I work from it. And you decide, but when the time comes to sell, and I do have an office and in that spare den that you're speaking about, I have to almost put my personal lifestyle aside and set it up and stage it how most normal people would use the spaces.
Yeah, no, me too. When it comes time to sell my house, bye-bye desk, and I'm putting in a dining table, like we can't.
And it's not that people lack creativity, because that's the public is sophisticated. It's you and I, like we're the demographic, right? But you still, and back to the $50,000 mistake, which I love. The premise is that you don't want to give them reasons to say no.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm becoming a realtor out of trying to sell this house and move into the city.
Yeah, yeah. And we want to show them possibility, right? Getting back to, again, having the neutral, clean slate stuff gone, and yes, this can be a bedroom or a multi-use space or whatever. And that really, during the pandemic, became obviously rose up the ladder in terms of importance for buyers. Now, something that our younger buyers are really, not even necessarily younger, but more and more buyers want smart home integration with their security system. They want all that to be seamless, right? So not just the Ring doorbell, but they want the thermostat and the security and all of that to be managed by their phones or
smart
iPads.
House,
yeah, the smart house. So that ranks high with buyers. And another one, which sounds kind of old-fashioned, but that is a planned laundry room. So, because who likes doing laundry? Not me. But even if you have some space in your laundry room where you can fold, like some sort of counter space, whether you in some shelving to put all your soaps and things, right? And paint it white so that it feels bright. We don't really want the laundry room down in the dungeon anymore with just,
I'm so glad they're not doing that anymore. It seems all the modern homes, they actually have the laundry of the bedrooms, which is really where most of your laundry originates, right?
Yeah.
So if you can avoid having a laundry in the basement, is quite typical at least in the GTA. Try to bring it to at least the main floor, at least.
But what some people do is they'll find they'll bring it to the main floor, but they'll find a nook where they can, okay, let's put it here, and they hide it behind, folding doors or something where it's just, there isn't really a laundry room. So you know what? If that's all you can do, that's all you can do. But just be mindful that people like an actual laundry room to work in, right? Well, we all know that the next one is storage.
Mm.
We all know the importance of storage, right? Because we all have so much stuff, and people want storage in the garage. They want those systems that you plunk your rake into the little grabber on the wall. I forget what those things are called, but they want to be able to hide and put their stuff away. Especially if you have kids come with so much stuff, bikes and balls and helmets and all that kind of thing, hula hoops and whatever, and we just where are you going to put all this stuff, right? So we need storage things.
Hula hoops and Elvis records. What are we talking about here?
You remember hula hoops, right?
You of course. It's been a minute, but yes.
Do kids play with hula hoops anymore? I don't know.
I don't know. That's what I'm wondering.
Who knows? But we also want like easy things like built-in shelves, and even those little dividers in our shelves. It just, again, when buyers are going to open your drawers and look, and they want to see organized shelves. So even those little things can be important. And let me see. Oh, this is a good one for you and me.
Okay.
The next feature is aging in place features. So, and if you look online, I don't know, I think it's called Universal Design. But if you look online, there are some stunning now, grab bars and different things that you can put into your bathroom that, oh my gosh, they're stunning. You don't even know they're a grab bar. They look like
a lot of even chairs or like artisan type stools in the shower. If you don't have a bathtub, and they look very spa-like. They look super cool.
Super cool. And they've got the nice they call those showers that there's not even a lip on them. You can walk right into them. It's seamless. So there's a lot of different things that we can do, because as you and I both know, multi-generational living is very popular where we live. And you know what? To go with the aging in place and the multi-generational living is, for move-up buyers and for new entry buyers, the number one thing they're looking for now, and builders are starting to put into their floor plans, is a full bathroom on the main floor. That is
opposite to a social powder room.
That's right.
Really?
That's right.
But if you don't have any bedrooms in the main floor, what purpose would that serve?
Well, it's really easy to make a bedroom on the main floor if you had to, right? Your living room could be a bedroom. You could really put a bed in many places, but you can't expand a powder room and put in a shower.
Okay,
right?
fair enough.
So that's, so a full bath on the main floor is a hot commodity now.
Okay.
And I think that actually was 10 if we count them, because we did curb appeal first, and that was my last one. I think we've gone through 10 now.
Now, it used to be that everyone told you your bathrooms in your kitchen sell your home. Is that still the case? Or now is it everything?
It's everything. Those are the big ticket items, right? Because we all know when you have a listing on the market that's the kitchens and baths have been updated versus not, we know there's $150,000 to $200,000 difference in listing price. So, I should say renovated, not updated. There's a difference. But for sure, that's where people would rather somebody else put the money. However, we tell people don't do that just for the sake of selling. You do that if you're staying in the house for 5 years or more, and you're going to enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
Then for sure, put those things in to your taste. But if you have in your mind resale value, ease up on the trendy stuff and the bright colors. Today, it's all about neutral palettes and off whites. So nice.
It's a seller market and a buyer market are two complete different things. When it's a seller market, the buyer needs to prepare to bid and go the distance to get that property, get into bidding wars. When it's a seller market, you need to invest. And I'm going through it. I have to have the whole house repainted, and the outdoor, like all these things that really, why am I doing it? When I'm about to sell, I should have done it and enjoy them. Exactly what you're saying. But to think that you're going to sell your home in today's market without an investment in it to get it ready to be sold is a mistake. That could be more than the $50,000 mistake, because you may only have to spend, you know, 10,000 or so in getting it refreshed. That if you don't, you're going to have to discount the price.
That's right.
So you're going to pay for it no matter what.
That's right. And yes, well said. And you know, it's better that we incur the price now, because buyers will always inflate what they think it's going to cost, right? So if you know to paint the inside of your house is $5,000, a buyer's going to think it's 7 or 8. And so, right? Or if you've got an old furnace, you know, 20-year-old furnace, a buyer, and maybe it's 7,000 to replace. I don't know the price of furnaces today, but a buyer's going to think it's 20 grand, right? And they're going to want to discount the price of the house by that. So it's much better that we take that on in advance. Yeah. And we know it's going to come up in a home inspection, which now, of course, we're into a situation where everything is going to be conditional on home inspection. Yeah. Why not? I mean, and so it should be. I mean, why should a buyer buy a house blind, right? And under pressure like they had to for the last 5 years. So it's, I mean, it's a balanced market.
If they buy it without an inspection, whether you've done it as the seller or they've done it as a buyer, you're opening yourself to potential liability unless you're selling as is, or like have an incredible team that is making sure that every waiver is there for you. Because it could seem like you may inadvertently make a mistake, and you may not even know that there was a potential, you know, big danger or big liability, and they'll come back after you, right after the fact.
Yes, I think with that, intent is everything, right? You know, if you if you haven't disclosed but you knew of it, then that's an issue. Actually, that would be a good podcast episode. We should get a realtor on and talk about that.
We're talking big money in everywhere now, but mainly in the metropolitan cities. Like, you know, you're speaking of a lot of money. So making sure that we dot our I's and cross our T's is absolutely fundamental. And the older you get, the more vulnerable you become to all these negotiations and people, you know, having things like, if you don't have your own home inspection, for example, and the buyer does their own, and you don't know what relationship the buyer has with the home inspector, they come up painting a horrible picture. No, I'm not saying that somebody would be unethical, but you got to protect yourself.
It happens.
So weird things happen. So yes. So this is, Renee, I think big money. That's really the topic of today, is big money. Things that cost a lot of money, mistakes that cost a lot of money. And nowadays, especially when you're in your prime and looking to optimize the sale of your home or free up some equity, this is super important. So we're going to have more conversations about this. So thank you so much. We've reached the top of, I've gone a little bit extra, the top of our hour. And we thank you, of course, and we welcome you to join us live. We have our first event coming up September the 12th in the GTA. And of course, we're going to go on tour after that. But mainly, we're starting here in the GTA. And remember to subscribe so you don't miss anything. Sign up for our newsletter, join our community, and stay in touch. We love to hear from you. So far, we get brilliant questions, brilliant comments, and we truly, truly appreciate it. We always try to answer it, you know, except the one asking how old we are. We're never answering that. So thank you, everyone. And until next time, thank you, Renee.
Bye-bye.